Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and today we're doing a radio install on this 2016 JKU. We're going to show you how to remove this factory radio, install the new radio, and do a little test for you. Provo Beast Audio Installation channel is sponsored by NVX and Sonic Electronics. Get 10% off all speakers, amplifiers, wiring kits, and more with coupon code PBAI at NVX. Also get 5% off all car audio components at Sonic Electronics with coupon code ProvoBeast. Okay, so we've popped this little cover out from the top. Just give it a pull. And what it'll do is it'll come right on out. And then you'll have a little 7mm bolt. Go ahead and remove that. You may need an extension to make that work. Now this dash bezel looks like it's just this piece, but it's actually not. It's disconnected on this side, but it actually wraps around the gauge cluster. What you're going to want to do after you remove that is give it a pull. Now keep in mind, if your model has the power windows, you're going to have to pop that out and disconnect the main harness there. You'll see a little 7mm back there as well. The last thing here, you see this little knee buster up underneath here. If you give a little bit of a tug here, pull that down on both sides, and then finally you're gonna have one last bolt right there here to pull it out on this side of the dash bezel. Alright, so with those 3 screws removed, the knee buster down, at this point this is loose enough where you can kind of pull it out and around the radio. Put that off the side so it doesn't get scratched. And we are left with plenty of space to now work on the radio itself. Again, 4 screws. Take out those four screws, then the radio will come free, and then you'll have harnesses behind the radio that you'll need to disconnect. Now it's at this time, it's probably smart to disconnect the negative off the battery, just so you don't cause any issue with the electrical in the car. Okay, so we pulled the radio out with those 4 screws. Now you may have more or less harnesses depending on the options on your car. Go ahead and disconnect these harnesses here. Most of them, basically, you just push in the tabs and they will come free. Each harness will have its own little tab here. After you depress those tabs, go ahead and pull them out. Once the radio is out, we'll head to the bench. Now, before you go ahead and try to get a new radio in there, you're going to have to remove this rear bracket. 2 bolts there on each side. Once you get that bracket removed, that provides plenty of space within the radio cavity to accommodate a new radio. Alright, so here at the bench we have the wiring harness for the radio. This came from our Pioneer. We're doing basically an MVH-2300NEX. For this install, we're doing the idatalink Maestro RR module. Now this is a universal module. Basically what you'll do is go to a PC, follow their instructions, and flash this for your vehicle specifically. The quick start guide kind of provides that direction on how to do so. What we also picked up specific to this Jeep is this Maestro CH-1. This is for Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles. This one specifically is compatible for our Wrangler. What this will do is specifically plug within the harnesses in the vehicle itself, plug and play. This will retain Uconnect, backup sensors, and a lot of the factory features which would be lost if we didn't use this adapter harness. Alright, so generally before you get started, head over to their website, go ahead and print out your install guide. We got ours for JK for a manual transmission. Essentially here, this takes you through step by step of exactly what you need to wire up. Also gives you a nice wiring diagram, which is super nice to have, especially when it's color coded. So we went ahead and combined the front harness to the Pioneer to the harness of the idatalink Maestro. Now we're not going to go through each one because it may differ depending on your model of which wire goes where. Most wiring colors from the Pioneer to the harness itself will match up. Like I mentioned before, if you have any questions about wiring, it comes as you print this off. Once you put in your make and model within the website, it'll give you everything you need, what wires go where, what connections are needed, whether you have the amplified or not, how the harnesses plug in, where you go to your to access the OBD2 data information, what plugs in on the module, and what plugs into the back of your radio. We went ahead and used Tessa tape after we soldered and heat shrunk all our connections, and this is the same tape both the factory harness is used in the car, as well as the idatalink Maestro uses, so keeps things nice and clean. Other than that, everything else plugs into our module that we flashed using a PC by the instructions given here, and this end plugs into the car, and this end plugs into our radio. Now for your actual install kit, we put this all together here. The kit that we're using, we'll put the part number down in the description. It's the Matra 95-6511 multi-kit for Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicles. We mounted that on, it's all good to go. You'll also need an antenna adapter. We're using the Access 40-EU10 European adapter. Works for Jeep and Chrysler and Dodge vehicles as well. Since we're running a Pioneer, we did a micro bypass here for video playback and some options in the settings as well to be unlocked while in motion. So we got this all wired in. We've also picked up a flush mount adapter for aux and USB. We'll show you where we're going to get that installed. This end plugs into the back of the radio just for easier access. And then finally, we're going to run our Bluetooth mic. We're going to probably put it around the instrument cluster. In the event we take the roof off the Jeep, we want to make sure that this does not get in the way of any of that movement. Alright, we're back here in the Jeep. So we went ahead and plugged in our harness. Now keep in mind that you'll need both harnesses plugged in, and you may have more depending on what features are installed on your Jeep. Here's our antenna adapter that just plugs into the white one. Generally the yellow one is for satellite radio. We'll just tuck those back out of the way because this will plug into our new radio. And then we ran our OBD2 our car sensor input. We ran it up and over the dash, down, and plugged it. As you can see, it's hanging out there, but we'll plug it into the port right down below. We also added an aux USB adapter. This was a blank for us. You may have a cigarette lighter, power point there. We just cut a little hole in it and mounted our little aux and USB, which is kind of cool. This whole piece just is held on with clips there, so that does pop out. And then we ran the aux and USB to back here. It'll plug in. The tricky part is getting this clump to fit in there along with the radio. There's good space down back behind, so you can get creative to tuck things on the sides. And with this top, you can help organize wires as you place the radio in. We'll use the same 4 screws as well. So we're going to go ahead, get everything into the dash, and then get the stereo mounted. So we went and plugged in our RCAs because we're doing an amp, backup camera, antenna. We got our mic, our steering wheel controls, our aux USB, our idatalink data port, and our main and wiring harness. Alright, so we got the radio mounted. We ended up cutting that upper bar out as instructed by Metra to allow enough room for the actual radio to mount properly. Since that's in, we tested everything. Everything's working great at this point. We're going to go ahead and put the dash bezel back on, up and around the radio. Alright, bezel's all back on. We mounted our Bluetooth mic right there. So we have CarPlay and Android Auto with this unit, which is nice. With also this unit, because we're using the idatalink Maestro, if we go to car features, because that's a new enabled feature for us, we'll have gauges here. Now since the car is off, there's not a lot it shows us, but it does show our intake temperature, our fuel, our load, miles per hour, and RPMs. If we hit the second one, it shows you our tire pressure sensors and what doors are open, as well as our voltage. But that's it. Good to go. Looks great. Actually turned out really, really nice. If you have any questions about this install, just go and post a comment below. Thanks again, guys, for watching the channel. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.